So today in 2023, my mom died in the evening, the 3rd of March, and I want to show a couple of law cases which involve her killing and the disappearance of her money, theft and robbery. It's a chapter 11 in the penalty law, the Israeli penalty law, all the theft and the robbery that happened, and the killing is paragraph 300 and 301. Okie dokie. So I'm going to share a screen, and I'm opening. I have one against the CEO of a big conglomerate of banks in Israel, which she had a boutique bank. She had a boutique bank in Eubank. It still more or less exists. The branch number is 26, account number 2111265, something like that, and the branch is 287. It's in Rothschild Street in Tel Aviv. I have to, when I type it, I remember. And we have involvement of a guy who's a lawyer in Israel, but I can't find him. And he negotiated in when she died. Suddenly they gave a will. I have a Muslim adopted brother named Dan, and suddenly he put a will that I didn't know existed, that she never deposited, which is, that he will run a trust on me. Now, this is a guy that haven't got really 12 years of education, or, he's a gambler, Muslim adopted, and really, and I have a brother, which might be half a brother, because he's very, very tall and very, very blonde. I mean, my mom was blonde and tall, and she always called him a mistake because she couldn't bring kids into the world. And I, was after she had an operation, and I had an incubator time and stuff like that. But he used to be a nice person, but I don't know, very nice, very polite, but he's a big colleague of that Muslim brother, and he was chucked out from the army, and he spends a lot of money on himself. He's a bit of a wasteful person. He hasn't got any moral, and he also didn't manage to do an academic degree, really. I did his academic degree. I did his seminar work, his BA. Okay, so in the background, we have this guy, I think he's anti-Zionist, he's Muslim, or he's, one of these guys with 100 gates, the Neturei Karta, that don't believe in the existence of the Israeli state. And his name is Mubarak Arik. Very strange, couldn't find him and nothing. And when they exposed that will, I said, we're starting getting a lawyer, because I know they're incompetence, and it wasn't my mother's signature, and it's a witness is a person who came and worked with my father after he stole in the 80s, and he was very violent to me. His name is Mark Baum, and he was the witness, and very strange, very, very strange. So that means, and I'm an accountant, okay, very important to say, didn't want to learn accountancy. I had, the beginning, I thought of doing, a theater, or art of a spectacle, that stuff, because I was good in sports. I was very good in the army. I was a sports guide and a instructor of a basic training. It was very rare for women to do that. And my rivalry was a 05. I was Anyway, I was very lucky, because I'm very small, very lucky, because it was a very good experience to get, self-discipline and morals and so on and so forth. And we had this guy who came in, anyway, to work in the office, and when I investigated what's going on, you know, and I started asking. Apparently, he also got a lot of money. Uh, uh, when my father died, he got a lot of, a file of clients, which I never realized, that he got them. And he sits in an accountant office, named Zeev, I think. Um, which this person turned to me to, pay for the clientele and get so, me and the family will get paid. And I don't understand. That time, money disappeared, apparently. I couldn't see that payment set, and he's still working under the cover of an accountant. His name is Mark Brown. He's not a bookkeeper. He's not qualified in anything. But, this Zev, got from Dan, or, poached. I don't know, that Muslim, and they took for free, and this person, because this Arik Mubarak, the anti-Zionist, he believes in killing women, of Zionist women. Some kind of a agenda, a cult like that, killing and making them homeless. And he's also signed on my mother's death certificate the day of her death, and he was, giving him them help to expel my mother from her home. He made an illegal, or he will organize an illegal, this ARC organized an illegal ongoing power of attorney to the general guardianship, which, they were already stealing, taking cash out, for him. The ARC, told him, my Muslim brother is not, he's not really working alone. He's completely a wreck. He's impotent. He's was an alcoholist, and he just got the guidance from this, lawyer of a cult, anti-Zionist cult. Got, instructions what to do. So I don't know if they're Muslims. I don't know, if they're some kind of Judaism in Putin Judaism from the Federation of Putin in Rostov. It's Chabad, but it's not. They don't run books. Nothing. Just hell. Most of the synagogues and stuff like that, they run books. They get registration from the state of Israel, and they can give a report. They're not just stealing and giving money to all kinds of fake rabbis and Muslims and whatever. So, okay. First of all, I have the CEO of the bank, because they were just taking cash from my mother's account, and there was no regulation. And my brother, who I did the similar work, he managed to get and work in that bank, and all his colleagues there, with all kinds of deaths, not deaths, but very rotten, money, I guess. Terror, all that thing that Israel is supposed to avoid. Sponsoring terror, sponsoring. So he's involved, the CEO, in the killing of my mom, because he didn't check these cash withdrawals. In my opinion, maybe the bank workers, because my brother worked in the bank. Maybe the bank workers they made all kinds of credit cards and withdrew money. Tell me. So I have the CEO. I have to pay 75,000 shekels. I'm just sharing the screen. It's important, okay? Because I'm not also the court in Israel, they don't let me show, this case where I babble along, because don't let me show the evidence. It's unbelievable. They want to paka. So I want, and witnesses. I mean, let's show the evidence. Okay. Now I'm going to share screen, okay? Hope I have it. Is it a new Zoom? Okay, share. Yeah, okay, so I'm sharing the screen as is. I'm in the background. And so what have I got? First of all, I'm um, going out of the internet of my open also I'll close the file. Also, this is internet. Log in with Google, I don't want. This is, it opened up by the Firefox. Interesting. I like Firefox. Okay. Okay, so this is this organizing. This is me asking for a voucher. Okay. I'm going into browse. Yeah, takes me. This is interesting. It's actually it goes to documents like the old school, but it puts on the OneDrive. You know, I want it on the desktop. Okay. I mean, I want it on usually C, you put C, D, and nothing on the desktop. The Russian says, and but they say, he told me in the 2000, it usually goes through this desktop. And I actually saw it, where they fish my stuff through the desktop. Okay. Okay, so I have here, and I'm gonna put it in a date modified. So on the 5th, okay, so I have here the lowercase, the appendixes that I want to add, and I'm writing in Hebrew, which is annoying, but anyway. I'm just saving it. I hate writing in English, but the code doesn't also give me any translation, which is annoying, really. Okay, so this I saved. I can close it. Now I just want to show this. I have 3 lowercases that I have to make today. So these are the appendixes. Now let's see if the pictures don't open for some reason. So now I'll go here. I'll just make sure. Here I can see them. Okay. So these are the stuff okay, I'm going to paste. And edit. It's about the anti-Zionist approach of art. Anyway, I need to edit it, but I want to make it, okay. So I'm copying. You can see the withdrawals of cash. You see that the woman was, okay. You can see that my brother played with the wills. I mean, he gave him some kind of a will. I mean, my father spoke in English. Also my mom spoke in English. And if there's an ordinary will, why aren't you showing it? You know, it's completely, and I'm beaten up. Okay, so now I'm just gonna take it because I can't see the pictures. I'm gonna replace it all. And I'll edit it later because that's the main thing. Catch the whale, catch the CEO of the bank, so it will make a noise. I mean, you know. Okay, now I can see it. So this is, they have 7 days where they need to edit and give me a voucher. The administration in the court of a how do you call it? It's not the district court, the first court. It's not family court. Anyway, a shalom, the peace court or whatever. But it's I'm not familiar with that. It's now in the because BB is all the time kept clear and safe in the main halls of Weitzman Street. Everyone has to go to and see the dead homelesses in and Chernobyl and what's going on in Shoken, Tel Aviv, which is hard. You cannot go to put a stiletto. You cannot put anything. It's harsh. So that's the quote. Okay, so I've done this. Now I'm gonna do, doing a pause because I drank a lot of coffee and I want to move to the, you know what I feel. I just want to make sure that I'm saving it. I'm showing where I'm saving it because they also stole a couple of computers. It's a website. It's now on a website. It's shit, this thing. Website httdocs.live.net. Documents or I guess that's the drive of Microsoft that I'm paying, but I didn't really want to pay for it. But anyway, I have it supposed to be a backup because my computers, I need to work, in the two levels because I'm an accountant and also a tax advisor, and in the Ministry of Justice, when you give the report, I usually have a special modem and really high tech and a lot of passwords. So I have to have this known as a desktop version because we're doing it on an intranet, not intranet, which is an inner connection like the old days where it was invented, the internet, the www. So we have a special connection to the classified and everything to the Ministry of the ITA, the Israeli tax authorities. 6 million are missing from the account of my mom. And it will be okay. Okay, so this I just have to make sure that it's DDocs. Well, it's supposed to be in my C, but anyway, I'm just making sure. It's now in OneDrive personal documents, but I will see it, I guess, in documents. Okay, I learned the word court is sud in Russian. I guess it's C documents, my desk will be C documents, what Microsoft has done. But it's financial to Microsoft, because you always, if it's only in the cloud, you need all the time to renew the Subscription. Okay. Yes. I'm doing a pause. Okay. Okay, I'm doing a pause. I hope it will work. I mean, it says the screen sharing is paused. But anyway, my leg is killing me. Ow. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm just taking my leg up. All these Muslims and Soviets in the Ministry of Health and in the hospitals. I talked about, some Muslim came here and, also, but, he hit me in my leg and they took a ranking of the other leg. He took, and he couldn't understand. I said, I am working with the police. I am working with the police. He said, the police, and I was, I'm working with the police. It's like, anyway. They have, and they, so all kinds of Muslim come and, try to shush me away from the place, a lot of medical negligence, which you can see, you wait and then you can see oh, she's very nice to you, she speaks very nice, that Muslim with the hijab that's coming here. Yeah, but what does she want? To deport me. Very nicely, to deport me from my country. They have this thing of a even they they work there. They're full of their imam in the morning speaks about it. You know, it's very pleasantries. And all the Russians there that I'm just talking about it. You have strange Russians here, and they're full in the hospital and everything. And sometimes I think they really live in Palestine. The Jewish girls that came here didn't completely understand what's Hebrew and what's a Arabic, and married. A lot of them are married to Muslims. not necessarily in the borders of Israel. And I guess, the labyrinths or whatever, I guess they let them in the morning come and and work. I mean, anywho, let's show the other documents that I wanted to do. But if you see me, I don't know. They themselves run and come, and I think they know they also have their passport of Russia and maybe a flat in Moscow. And they're completely panicked, They said, "Oh, go to have a 10 minutes break or something," and this is my number now. I was completely, shaking because she has a double passport to Moscow and she's living, I don't know, in East Jerusalem or something, and or a village in Kalanswa, but in an Arab village, an Arab, not in the borders of Israel. She's afraid, Anyway, the deportation that I don't mind the Russian girls at all, and the Jewish, the Jewish, anyway. They got mixed up. It's such a small state. They came here in the 90s, and I can understand it. Everyone was in the army, and men, and they all the Eastern from Morocco and stuff like they look the same. They look the same. They sound the same. Their accent is the same. They shout. They lived for many years with among Muslims. They even more. Uh, and it is what it is. If I would have come from from England and without doing the army or stuff like that, I could completely find myself in look in a Muslim village. I can't and they pay. They pay. They court you. I mean, after you get married, I'm not sure that you also have so many benefits. But they take you out and they pay, and they're not hurt by the Nazis, and they have to sit and calculate their money for a rainy day, or how to these people also the Eastern, they come, they pay, they take you out, they celebrate and stuff like that. But the Germans, the Poles, it's very hard. The Austrians, the Hungarian, they will treat you as if you're one of their colleagues in the partisans, and we're making how much did this glass of wine cost, and for a girl that starts her life, it could be very, very hard because, all the time looking at the abyss, all the time looking at and remembering the Holocaust. And, it can be very, especially for a Russian girl that they also came from a lot of them came from a gulags and stuff like that. Okay, okay. Wonder how long this is gonna run this Zoom. I haven't done it for 2 years or a year, November 24. Okay, so let it and it's all updated. Okay, so we finished this. Now, this Arik Mubarak sent a lot of people to harm me and steal from me. And there's a guy named, and also create medical negligence. And there's a guy named Meir Friedman who has no real registered connection to my property. But he was sent by this Mubarak to enter my, first of all, Mubarak sent two of my brothers. Suddenly, I was running their books, that the Muslim brother adopted is a real estate, not doing well, very, for many years, and always drove me mad, always was very, very violent and very hard. But when my father died, I said, come on up, he's one of the family, let me help out. So I run his book. I will run the books and the tax advising for most of my family. Also, my father was an accountant, but I worked for like in volunteering with my father. He was very sick, um, and his Hebrew wasn't so good, and it wasn't my choice really. I was doing very well in Tel Aviv. In a very early age, I left the home and worked very hard. But this brother, who he broke an entrance. That was the first time that he did it, when I was living alone. Maybe he also broke an entrance in the lot, I don't know. But he broke an entrance to my house. It's an awful, awful experience. Awful, awful experience. Someone that comes unannounced. And he broke an entrance into my house. And my mother decided, that she'll build a shelter for me at home. I didn't want it. I didn't want it. But I was so, I finished my BAE in honors, and what she wanted me to do. Was doing so well, with all this waitressing and sports, and I was doing sports, all kinds of, entertaining as a clown, or as entertaining as this Tiffany Haddish that does, you come and you dance at their weddings, so you'll give a bit of a nice spirit, all kinds of, doing very well. Had lovely friends who always supported and gave me jobs. She wanted the BA, which I finished in honors. And, and I was working in it's like the police, because but it was, the investigation of the police, which they went out of the army, and they weren't paying well. They weren't paying well. I was waitressing, and then I really suffered in Tel Aviv. Everyone wants to be a waitress, and to be a waiter, you have a. It was hell. And then I got a job from a friend of mine. She also was in the military police. The name is Yelet, and I was there. But in the same time, I was a lifeguard, and I finished my degree like that. Was the lifeguard was very, very well paying, and. I felt very, hardworking, but then he broke an entrance into my house. And, they also always promise that you will earn a lot if you are academic. Well, today I can earn a lot because I know how to invest as an academic. But, having a BA in psychology in honors, I said, okay, give me the brain science and go, to my father and mother. I want to go into AI, because cognitive psychology takes you to that area. Anyway, it was their decision. I don't know, my father more or less forced over me to be an accountant. And I have more qualification than a person that hasn't got 12 years of, hardly has a, 12 years of education, or someone that also learned the lowest degree, which is business management in a university, and more or less steals all his way, and runs away. The blonde, tall, white rush. Okay, I finished this, finished that, complaining, giving background. No, remove the file. This document recovery task paid. Okay, which one? I want to view these files here later. To keep the last item you copied. If you do, it may take a bit or longer to exit. Yes, usually it uses, so it's now online. Let's just make sure that it actually have to go into C. I haven't got C, but I have here, and it's the OneDrive personal, isn't it? I didn't really want it, and then I have to go to documents. Let's do the date modified. Don't know what this personal. No, the bigger files. No, it's not here. OneDrive personal. So it's here, documents. Here we go. This PC is just so annoying. See? Now let's look and see. They change it. Port Sud. It's just annoying, you know. In the version, the Windows 93, it was so easy to look stuff up. It was so, but now they want, you know, to get paid. Just show the networks. I hope it's still running. Okay, let's go here. Documents. Now see user audit, OneDrive, documents. Okay. Just wanna. Now I just want to show that it's because I had a problem with the papers. With the, yeah, so you can see. I just want to show it. This is the appendixes of the big whale. This is a CEO of a Eubank and Ben Lumi and Ben Lumi, Mossad, Otsar. It's a big merger and acquisition. And I have more stuff to enter, but this is the terror, the terror. So I got messages that I will be killed. I got a guy here that they put drones above my house from a neighbor for 2 months. This is his Balla Ma'ar. I also have his registration number. He had a Hezbollah hunting club, Happy Hunting, and you know he belongs to Hezbollah. It's this is the number and everything, and he lives in Hadera, and I guess they took him out of Hadera. He broke an entrance to. I think he's a. He might be. You know, you have a lot of Tel Avivs like that. In a relationship, a homosexual sexual relationship with the other car said Tzvi Greenberg. And but you know, uh, you have a lot of Tel Avivians like that. They like the capital. So he might, this Tzvi Greenberg might have taken this Bal Amar and they're in a strange, they have a shared baby or something, but they broke an entrance. They broke an entrance. This guy was put in drones 2 months. I didn't understand where it came from. And then I saw him, you know, I realized he was there and he told me that because it's she's an ambassador of Switzerland. He told me that is because in the beginning he said he's checking the house. He's from the security, and then he said that he owns that house. You know, and very strange, very strange. He was threatening me and stuff like that. I didn't manage to take a picture of him. But he belongs to the Hezbollah. It says on the car. It's English. Happy hunting. I'm in Hezbollah club. Happy hunting. That is honest. And you know, I had drones, which it took my. So this is the terror. You know, against me. They put drones and then stealing on the 13th of November, my computers, my phones, my, you know, November 2025, stuff was stolen. So this is all the terror that Mr. CEO is corresponding with. But I also, let's go into, you know, Now we have a neurological scan by an Israeli woman in Hadera that was done for my mom that shows that she was paralyzed, deep paralyzed. In my opinion, it's a poisoning, but anyway, in the 6th of January 2023, she was paralyzed like ALS, but you have something like 70 different drugs that can create it. She wanted actually to give her corpse to a medical university, and it wasn't honored by this Muslim brother who buried her. I was completely shocked. Buried her in the ground. She was after a hip replacement, and suddenly, very strange stuff happened. So, but here you have the neurological, and I can read it out loud. This is not a very good. Let's just make the wrapping of the text in line. Okay, tight. Okay, now you can see. Shows, and I've read it a lot of times, but it's like ALS. It's completely motor neural. How do you say? In a electrographic evidence foregoing the generation reincarnation of three areas of the nervous system, cervical, lumbar, and thoracic. In the lumbar and cervical area, it was seen in muscles that originate from different roots and nerves on the background of almost normal snap and severely reduced CMAPs. In addition, in repetitive nerve stimulation of 3 hertz, a mild discrimination response was seen. These findings are compatible with motor neuron disease. Anyway, motor neuron disease, but it can be induced as well. ALS, but it can be induced. It can be induced with 70 different drugs. Lithium, all these psychiatric, very, very, very fishy drugs that they give to people, like lithium, like dopamine inhibitors. All this can be happen to her, but she had no, reason to get a thing like that. Okay. She was mute. That's not the point. Anyway, this is not the point. It's not connected to the bank because I don't think the bank came and killed her with their poisons. We are talking about the theft, about chapter 11. So you can see that there is a. How would you this motor neuron disease? מוטורית נוירונית. מחלה כזו גם יכולה להתרחש בהשפעת כ-70 סמים, תרופות שונים, ביניהם ליתיום. שמשמש או שימש כתרופה שמשמש רבים מהפסיכיאטרים בעבר וייתכן גם סמים של חוסמי דופמין הקשורים להפסקת פעילות יזומה בשרירים. הטקסט וכיוצא בזאת. בקיצור. Okay. I wrote it. Anyway, that's the thing. We are talking about poisoning, terror. Now we can see this was done on the 3rd of January 2023. It's an ongoing power of attorney. Well, she's mute. And this neurological findings is just a couple of days, later, that you can see she half a year she was mute. But that might be the Fosselan. She was registered for her thyroid, which I said, it's not chronicle. She was, you can move to seaweed or something like that. I think it really destroyed her breathing ability, the smelling ability, and might have been, also the thyroid. There's a lot of medical negligence in Israel. But she was mute. And this was behind my back. I'm biological, okay? I'm her real daughter. Just kill me. The 3rd of January, an ongoing power of attorney to liquidate her assets, it wasn't submitted to the bank, but you can submit it to the bank. They didn't submit it to the bank. But apparently for half a year, which they never gave me the bank from 2021, they deprived from my mother and for me the bank papers, any bank paper. This say Arik, and also the bank stopped sending. This say Arik Mubarak. Just stop sending, not giving me anything, not giving my mother. I'm not an accountant, nothing. But you can see that we was stealing Mr. Mubarak, who held that will on me. He was stealing. He sent it to another lawyer named Agami. Sent my brother that hasn't got, how can my brother, a Muslim brother, suddenly understand what is an ongoing power of attorney? It's such an esoteric term. My lawyer in court didn't know what it means. My lawyer in court. How to fill that form and anything. Suddenly, in the 6th of January, when she's completely paralyzed, he takes us to one of Arik's colleagues to do an ongoing power of attorney, hiding it from me, but they are stealing every day. May it be, I don't know who, in my opinion, as I'm saying on the CEO of the bank, in my opinion, maybe the workers in the bank with this ordered, the blonde one, think that this money is owed to them. My blonde brother was a worker in the bank. So you can see every day, every few days, big sums of money are going out. Cash! I mean, this is the easiest thing to realize. Cash. And she's here, let's see. She's dead. This is February. She's dead here. Okay, this is all cash. Okay, this is not the... Okay, cash. Here, sniff format, cash, 4,000, she's dead. She has no leg, she's mute. Who's taking out cash on her deathbed? It's unbelievable. You tell me, I don't know who did it. I don't know who, you're the banker. You have a big bank there. You're supposed to stop stuff like that as happening. But this Mubarak is encouraging theft. Encouraging. Okay, so what did Mubarak, this is another thing, but Mubarak at the same time, why did he do the power of attorney? To sell her house. Well, she's, has poisoning and stuff like that. She moved, I couldn't handle it. She had a hip replacement. I asked for help. They didn't, he said no help you. He wanted her to fall from the stairs. I said, look, this is I'm not fantasizing, but a person that has a hip replacement in the age of 80 might fall. It's my mother. He told them, no help. Don't let her fall. This Arik Mubarak, they Muslim, let her fall from the stairs. And I had to quit my work. I was working in a very high position in Tel Aviv, in Ernst and Young. I had to quit my work. My father and mother wanted to be successful. I had to quit my work. I actually found a, because I also had have a but you know, it was very, I really liked it, Ernst and Young. They were very good. And then I came home. I was, you know, helping her out at home. I managed to get from the national insurance helper here, but they were pushing her out of the house. When you could have the full help in the house. And I actually thought that she was a bit isolated. You know, she was recovering well. She walked. That was September. She had a problem talking a bit. September 2022. And I said, look, I mean, you know, it might be nice for you. I told her it might be an old age home. You have friends there. Don't, you know, she had a friend there and she could have a full time help. And then Arik told them, don't pay it was, you know, don't pay a deposit for her, for her old age home. They took over. Then they took over the bank for some reason. They didn't pay the deposit. They didn't show me the agreement or anything because they let her fall from the stairs, actually. I needed to do all the stuff before. And then they completely took over with Arik, signed her with Arik, sent them to another guy for an ongoing power of attorney on the mother. She was deteriorating because every day people are stealing from you and they come and say they love you, which is, it can really make you, you know, and she was, I also sometimes have it, you know, in complete diarrhea because her Satan, her Muslim son is stealing from her and he was depriving me to see her. And I think she was a bit frightened. She was just you know, when you see death, you usually have problems with your gut. You shit yourself. You pee and you shit yourself. And it's very frightening, that person. Very frightening. You know, if I came from abroad, it's an, oh, I mean, I mean, some people like the Easterns, you know, shakes you, you know, and stuff like that. I mean, now the blonde one is in a family like that, where they shake you, they, you know, they stole from the bank at the 80s. The courts, they didn't do the army. And he's, you know, he married one of those daughters of the bankers that didn't do the army, and they sold the inner trading and stuff like that. And they were kept like Obama stuff. And anyway, my knee is hurting. And this is the appendixes. And I have 3 others because he sent this. Arik sent now I'm closing it because I found it. And I have a family judge. It just doesn't, you know, she's very hard working and stuff like that. But she did mistakes. I mean, you know, and she's not admitting them, and she's completely afraid of me that I work with the police. I mean, you know, change yourself, okay? Change yourself. I mean, she did a big effort. It's her name. I'm calling her SS because that's her. You know, her initials are SS. She did a lot of she managed, you know, to try to set me up with a lawyer, and because I spent a lot of money on that. But a lot of stuff doesn't go away. You know, she doesn't manage to do. She gave up. Specifically, they made an order. She took out a court order when she was mistaken, and I had to sit 2 months again, send it, change it, and everything. Some relative of this Arik throws out all my stuff from the system. Just throw it every time I put in. She throws it out. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. I have to go there, and it's a full-time work, and I have problems. I need physiotherapy. It just drives me nuts. It's I don't know what's her name, but she was in the first debate. She asked me to take off all my electronics. She has no authority. Maybe she's Maya Ovadia. I don't know who she is. No authority. My laptop and everything went through the check-in and the stuff like that. She and Arik, that without a judge, were running a full trial that I have to, shut my laptop that I brought, my phones, take them off of the table. What the fuck is going on there? And they made a scan there, and she's just a typewriter. And I said, look, this is not, I don't want to be, and I also asked from the beginning, I don't want to be judged there. I don't want to be judged there. You have a lot of girls that kill the kids in burning cars. If you ever heard about this endless radio reports about women or families out anti-Zionist, and they don't participate in the army, but the kids are dead in cars, endless. What are they? Muslims. And because if you're in the army, you should take care of every soldier that you have. You have to, you bring back. You won't lose a soldier. That's you have to attack and everything. But as an officer, a commander, a guide, you have to, or every time you have to count. You have 50 in your department. You count them every morning. Every morning you count them. I didn't want to be there. It's Bnei Brak. It's Bnei Brak, and never have I heard in the radio the judge ruling in the court case is that it's murder. Don't say the names. Say it's murder. May it be the Muslims. Who the hell forgets a kid locked in a car for many years, locked in a car, burned, suffocated, for death. Many years you heard it from the 90s. Many years. This is murder. I'm just, it drives me nuts. It's not something that I'm racist against the Muslim. By the way, I don't like them because they don't really believe in the Beirut say that you have 4 women you can have. They don't believe in the right of a woman to success. May it be a career, or maybe it be a succession of her inheritance and stuff like that. Very weird. It's not racism. It's just it hurts me. It hurts me. And the Bnei Brak, you could see this typewriter. I don't know. It doesn't speak English. Doesn't speak Russian. Doesn't speak anything. So shouted at me, Ivrit. Take off your. And they didn't want to give me my ID number. Unbelievable. This court, what's going on? And they preserve these people. Preserve them. For many, it's the same workers who, I don't know, they changed now to a different place, but unbelievable. Typewriters or whatever, that suddenly she makes a full, and also she started giving orders. She's not a judge. She started giving orders to the security. She's a typewriter. The judge didn't come in yet. She and Arik, this Muslim guy, anti-Zionist, I don't know, he says maybe she's a relative for him, was starting this first debate. We're doing a full trial on me and my equipment, although it was scanned by the security, to move them here and move them there and close them up. Who the fuck are you? And she was giving orders to the security, a security boy there was completely mixed up. I said, what's your ID number, you typewriter? What is your ID number, Mr. Security guy? Because you won't have a weapon if you don't understand who's who's the judge here. And then they got me a girl as well, which is common. If you ever do the army, you know that if you're a security, will be a woman to woman. And she came in. They were bloody bubbling above my head. And I asked them about the defibrillator. I asked, they didn't have, it's a new place. They have defibrillator. She was okay. She brought some um, uh, she's a paramedic. She bought some, because I hurt my leg. They didn't. These guards didn't know where the defibrillator is. There nothing, and but they ran away because my wig. I'm now but I wear wigs. Wear wigs. I mean, it's a tendency of the Ashkenazi. But the style of golden green. I don't do a skinhead because I don't know, I had a bad experience in the when I was a kid. I just did a skinhead because someone, intruded. Anyway, there was some intruders in their house, and but I wear wigs. Anywho, it's a Jewish thing. It says that you're Jewish in the Ashkenazi, that you are a Jewish woman. May you be married or not married. I also put this, but now I'm on Zoom. Anywho, I'm gonna have a break. My knee, which was hurt, is killing me. I need physiotherapy. This I'm just asked the judge to move. It's change of a. They all the time take it out. They send me rejections, so I'm just making sure that they. So this is the thing. He sent people to attack me. To it's you can see a pattern. It started with the Arab and the Muslim sending this Magbaum to intrude. He did it in 2012, 2013, intrude in my father's late office. Intrude, attack, change keys, you know. And then we had Kobe Cohen again. He was some kind of I don't know. They said he's in construction, but he was breaking my house in Arek's request, intruding, not saying when he's coming. It's half a dunno. It's very frightening. So it started. You can see a pattern. It started from Mark Baum. I built a small office which was serving me, and he was just intruding in my office and changing locks and attacking me. I mean, it was frightening. At some stage, I started, climbing through the window to, because he changed locks, he changed keys, and it's my office. This is my father, and this is my office, and he was going around, Anyway, awful. So it started from Mark Baum, who actually Arik and Dan paid him $1 million to attack me and be violent to me and intrude and take my money. Dan is my adopted Muslim guy. Arik is a Muslim or an anti-Zionist cult. I haven't, but he's a big colleague of him. My Muslim brother also sat in, I think, he sat in the military, he was imprisoned. I think also in a regular prison. Okay. And now we have, and I'm sure he's the same. So now we have, and in 2021, he helped my younger brother in the bank. So that's the thing with the bank, which I'm suing, because he was involved in the bank, getting all kinds of compensation and stuff like that. Oh, so now we're talking about And you can see a big operation that is going on because he sent a lot of intruders. By the way, the rabbi of my Muslim, because the Muslim is with an anti-Zionist cult, which is Chabad, but they don't believe in the state of Israel. Okay, so this rabbi actually came into my house. I once went there. I gave, my the Muslim sent him. He never took out an invoice or anything. Had no books on anything. And very weird. So he's many years he's supporting the Muslim brother, anti-Zionist. It's like a cult which says they're Jewish, but they're anti-Zionist, anti-women, anti-Zionist, and stuff like that. They don't do the army, and they say they have some. Anyway, so he intruded. I could remember him. He came into this house. Mubarak sent him. He was leaving all kinds of flowers or the same look, the same intruded into my house, broken entry. Broken. I was in the sea. I came with my bikini, and the committee, the wife of the committee girl, her name is Shelley Cole. She saw him. So him, the anti, I'm all having the conversation with her. If I'm just saying specific. He broke it. This is a very, very dangerous cult. Specific, the cult leader that is above my father was in my house. It was about July 2020, 2024. I don't know what his name is, but he lives nearby. Awful experience. And he ran away, What the fuck are you looking in my house? I think they're selling it to some cult or Muslims or Palestinians. Already sold it, gave him some kind of a weird advice. Anywho, so Alec and him are members in this anti-Zionist cult for many years. And so it started from Mark Baum, who came and when my father died, first of all, he's signed on the will, and on the will to make a trust for me, which they are not making a trust. They're just spending the money. You can see they don't. And he got a lot. When my father died, he came, he sat there. And when we dismantled the office, because I was working and I was supposed to get a lot of clients, and I was poaching them and stuff like that. But he behind the back was poaching other clients. Now he says in the will that he has no economical interest. So while I was, trying to recruit the clients, he was going and taking the clients. And also he came and took cash from my brother. Now he signed on a will which I didn't know, but this Alec also put her in. It's awful. And to kill me, which is not the meaning of doing a trust. Trust is 152, 172. It's like an ongoing power of attorney. It's not supposed. It's not to say a theft. It's you have to take care of the person. You have to give reports to a social worker. You have to give reports and help them out, not kill them or drain them or make them a coma or make them. It's awful. So it started with Mark Baum. And then we had Kobe Cohen, which I have a case already that is open, but it's, a restriction order because they sent someone to sabotage my house. Intrude, not say when he comes. I have the bills of the water are completely nuts because he broke sewages. He made all kinds of strange projects here. My sewage is completely, had so many problems with just the taps. I never had it before. Started all kinds of projects. Intruding doesn't say when he comes. It's this Taliban, and he actually going on in. Why the hell are you going through my shower? This is, 4 levels. Why are you going through my, I had to put it like a crazy, everything closed up, like and walk around with the swords in my garden. It's not unbelievable. Why should I live like this? So Kobe Cohen intruding, and Mark Baum, Kobe Cohen. And I don't know. Also, he was doing all kinds of strips and coming with a perfume. I mean, you're supposed to be a sabotager. And by the way, the Judaism, it started with my mom, which was a widower. Here, and they were hip replacement. Why a Kohen in the Ashkenazi cannot be next to a widower? He cannot serve. He cannot. I don't know. He was trying to get her money, trying to get to bed. He was sleeping in her bed. He was sleeping in a lap bed. I mean, it's a Kohen. It's unbelievable what he has done. So I also put a gate. I asked him, okay, so build a gate to yourself because you're intruding me. You're intruding my mom, who's already in there, and just say, fuck off. But still he came, I said, אתה תהיה מחוץ לגדר, which is the curse, because that's the old, you bury them outside of, you're not buried. He didn't have a bank, he didn't have a code. And then after him, he sent my brothers to hit me. The blonde hit me, he told them to throw me from the house. I don't think, they had all the idea what's going on. I don't think the bank really understood what's going on completely. Because he's a Palestinian, this Arik is a Muslim, he's an anti-Zionist, he was operating, went in when my mom was dying, he already, in my opinion, already sold the house. He's talking about some 40 million. Sold the house without, any certificates. Again, with any completely legal and buying and moral certificates. And it was operating, they were in grief and didn't completely know what to do. He brought this Kobe Cohen, and then he brought my brothers to beat me up, and they haven't done it for a lot of years. First of all, it starts from the Muslim. It says, I will demolish you, but I will expel you. It said, I'll demolish your house. And in the day after, my blonde one, he was an employee for many years. He was obeying orders. He just dragged me he didn't let me go into it was a shiva. He didn't let me go into my mother's house. He dragged me. I have problems with my spine completely. And you could feel his sorrow. He didn't intend it to do, but the Muslim told him to do. The Muslim and Arik told him to do. You could see him sorrow. He stopped, but my spine is completely have problems, with all my, and I'm old, all my limbs are full of a real. I need my physiotherapy. So this is more or less this. Okay, so I have to make 4. Mark Baum, Kobe. It's also connected to how much I've deposited to do this. Mark Baum, Kobe Cohen. Mark Baum, Kobe Cohen. Okay, they sent me some guys called Ronen Freund, who also did it, was walking around here. And it doesn't matter if I have, just don't treat women like that. Just don't treat. Well, he came again to my shower, he took pictures, and this Alex said at the beginning, oh, she's hallucinating. People are walking in her territory. No, I'm not hallucinating. He said all her problem is hallucinations, because they try to poison me with all kinds of mental drugs, like my mom. All that, I had a year, awful year with, Alec instructed the blonde to give me medicine. It's not medicine. It creates a stroke for a year. Also medical negligence. It's just awful what's going on here in Israel. And so I have Ronen Freund, and then Friedman Meir, who's like a but I have another adopted sister. So he's like the boy of my adopted sister, and they made kids together. He was intruding in my house. What the fuck is? You don't have any right. You're not married. You're not married. And he also has all kind of poisons. His name is Meir Friedman. He was running as a paramedic with Muslims, with Bedouins, Beersheba and Mitzpe Ramon, and he also is connected to Ariel Sharon being in a coma for having a stroke and being in a coma because he was a paramedic, and he was working as a paramedic and bodyguard or whatever of Ariel Sharon that which the two brothers completely fished up. They were stealing money from the state of Israel to themselves. That was the investigation. That was the court case. And suddenly, and he was also Ariel Sharon, Arik Sharon was accused, suddenly got a stroke and became a vegetable for 10 years. And this Meir Friedman is connected, to try to induce all kind of, or I don't know, I had medical records when they offered me to, I didn't have any problems with my kidney, okay, but almost half a year, they offered me to have some kind of a surgery to take an abscess or a tumor from one of my kidneys. I didn't have anything. I was lucky that the paramedic from time, it's all, a lot of them are, which is donation, half a year, which the blonde one put me. Crazy what's going on. Okay, I'm doing a break, but we have, let's summarize it. We have Mark Baum, we have Kobe Cohen. Mark Baum, Kobe Cohen. Freund, that Ronen Freund that works with the Arik and all, he has a lot of lawyers there. Freund and Meir Friedman have to sue 4 of them. But we have my mom died on the 6th of March 2023. We're at war. We're at war against Hezbollah. We're at war against Iran, Israel and the USA. USA, 4th of July. Okay, lovely. I worked as a lifeguard and with the, not the hostages, but the evacuees. It was a nice experience in sports. Ow. That's it. Zoom out. Upload it to the YouTube to remember. Okay.